Welcome to Parallel Universe. The night his character died on television, millions watched in shock. A hero gunned down, bleeding out alone in a car. It felt brutal, sudden, almost personal. But what viewers didn't realize was that the man behind the character was already unraveling in real life. Within months, the cool, composed star of CSI, crime scene investigation would disappear from the spotlight, not because of a storyline, but because his own life was spinning out of control. For years, Gary Dourdan seemed untouchable. As Warwick Brown, he brought quiet intensity and emotional depth to one of the most watched shows in America. Stylish, confident, mysterious. He wasn't just another TV cop, he was the soul of the team. To audiences, he looked like a man who had it all figured out. But behind the scenes, pressure was building. Fame had come later in life, and with it came expectations, long hours, and the invisible weight of staying relevant in Hollywood. Contract negotiations with the network grew tense. At the same time, personal struggles were deepening, struggles few fans knew anything about. Then came the incident that changed everything. In 2008, police found Dourdan asleep in a car with drugs in his possession. The arrest made headlines overnight. Suddenly, the calm, controlled image shattered. Instead of talking about his performance, people were talking about mugshots, court dates, and rehab. While the show never publicly linked the arrest to his exit, his contract was not renewed. His character was written out, permanently. What followed wasn't a quick recovery. It was a slow, painful fall. Over the next several years, there were more legal problems, financial troubles, even bankruptcy. The actor who once earned millions per season was reportedly drowning in debt. Roles became smaller. Offers became rarer. At one point, it seemed like Hollywood had quietly moved on. Fame, once so bright, faded into something almost unrecognizable. Yet the most heartbreaking part wasn't the career loss, it was the isolation. Friends described a man struggling to rebuild while the world remembered only his lowest moments. For viewers who had welcomed him into their homes every week, it was difficult to reconcile the troubled headlines with the thoughtful performer they thought they knew. Still, his story didn't end there. In later years, Dourdan began resurfacing in smaller projects, independent films, and guest appearances on shows like Being Mary Jane and Power. Not blockbuster roles, but proof he was still standing, still working, still trying. Public appearances showed a man older, quieter, but seemingly more grounded than during the chaos of his fall. For many who watched him during his prime, his story feels less like scandal and more like a cautionary tale about how fragile success can be. One season you're at the center of America's biggest show. The next, you're fighting just to stay afloat. Time moves on. Audiences move on. And fame, once lost, rarely returns the same way. Gary Dourdan's journey is not just about a star who faded. It's about how easily a life can split into before and after. About how private battles don't pause for public success. And for older viewers especially, it carries a sobering truth that reinvention is possible, but it often comes quietly, without applause. Because sometimes the real story isn't how someone falls, it's how they keep living afterward, long after the spotlight has moved somewhere else.